Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the North East Non-League Show. And looking back with and tonight, joining us for our next looking back is Whitby Town keeper Shane Blanchard. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, cheers for having me, James. Appreciate it, mate.
I say this having been supposed to be on Sunday, but obviously very important match last night. England through the next round. Do you fancy our chances?
Yeah, I mean, great performance last night, wasn't it? Obviously, okay, first half, a little bit slow, but I think we just managed to take the shackles off second half, and I think that's what England have got to do in this competition. I mean, obviously, we've shown it in 2018 what we can do.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've shown it in obviously in the Euro 2020 as well. So like I said, it's been a tough group. I think obviously, we cruised past Iran, and then I think with the game against USA, I thought USA were a very organized team, and
Yeah, definitely.
very hard to break down. The question is, were we probably playing a bit too slow against them? Probably. I think if we stepped up a couple of gears, we could have done better there. But yeah, it was a good, positive to see us, beat Wales and send them home, really.
Yeah, because I was quite laughing because, like I say, it's supposed to be on Sunday, and I got to half time, and I thought, as I'm going to wait, because the way we playing here, we're going to finish in second, obviously. Then, literally, as soon as I sent the message, it was 2 goals in pretty much 2 minutes, wasn't it? So we had to kind of rearrange for tonight. And just before we start, a massive thank you to our sponsors, Beer Watch TV, Sun and West End, Jade Bell, and again, proud to support If You Care Share Foundation as well. But lots to go over, Shane, and I mean, like you say, a lot of comments that we've already had in. Obviously, Whitby Town fan favourite. Obviously, a lot of people tuning in now. Must be a great club to play for. Like you say, on social media, I just love it how you kind of, if there's a defeat for Whitby or something going on, you're always there as a player, almost like a fan, and kind of wanting the build up between yourself and the fans, giving them the questions that they want as well. That must be great for yourself to be able to do that.
Yeah, like I said in the past, in previous, past interviews, past podcasts, etc. Whitby's a fantastic club. Whether it's playing for Whitby, whether it's whether you're a spectator, I've always heard good things. A couple of my mates who have never been to a Whitby game have ended up coming to 5 or 6 more games. It's just a friendly club where you can enjoy your football. Obviously getting released from Middlesbrough and then joining there pretty much straight away. I was familiar with the non-league experience with Gisborough just beforehand. So to sign at Whitby at 18-year-old was it was a massive challenge, because it was a sign of growing up and going into men's football and having to adapt. Going from academy to men's. So yeah, nearly 10 years now at the club, and like I said, it's an absolute pleasure to play for them.
Oh, really good. And getting back to your early days as well, obviously at Boro, how did that move all come around? The academy, was it playing for like a Sunday League side, and how many years were you actually at the academy?
So yeah, I mean, I was it was funny because I started football playing for Northampton, and then I had 2 years there under 10s and 11s, and then I had a season at Martin FC. Obviously, a very popular junior club in Middlesbrough. So, they've made some unbelievable footballers in the past. Stuart Down and Jonathan Woodgate, players like that. So, to play for them was it was a no-brainer to move on to there. And then obviously that's when it just all kicked off. I was all for playing football just for fun with my mates, and then all of a sudden it just became a bit of a reality. Didn't realize that I'd actually go that far. Just wanted to play football with my mates. Originally went to Hartlepool on a trial. They wanted to sign us straight away, but I think the goal was I wanted to play for my hometown club.
Yeah.
And once the move kit, obviously once the scouts came in and wanted to have a look at us, Hartlepool went on the back burner and just wanted to go to Middlesbrough straight away. And like I said, joined there when I was 12, going into under 13s, and I'd again, from under 12s to under 18s, an experience where, very lucky, to get an experience like that. And to be fair, I mean, how many people now these days have that say of, who has that experience, and very, again, like I said, very lucky.
Yeah, like I say, it's always a very special club of bringing the youth players through. I always remember that time when they had literally a full starting 11 academy lads, which was absolutely fantastic as well. I mean, coming through with your youth setup in the team that you're playing, who was the kind of names that was in your youth team?
So, like I said, I mean, got a couple who are playing at Whitby at the moment. So you've got, Priestley Griffiths, Brad Fewster.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brad's played Football League with York. He's been in the England setup. Priestley, again, obviously, been involved with the club a long time. Again, another England international. The real standout player for us was probably Jordan Jones. Who's obviously, again, made his career in Scotland. Playing for Rangers. Obviously got that. He went to Kilmarnock. Again, had a really good spell there. One of their main players, and then playing under Steven Gerrard at Rangers.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
So I mean, like I said, for him to go there was unbelievable. I mean, there was lads a little bit older than me. So you had the likes of, Charlie White was in there. Obviously he was in, probably like, second, third year.
Yeah.
You had like, Jake Fowler, unbelievable footballer. Just like you said, very good players, and, who've, whether if they've not gone and done well in football, they've made a decent life for themselves. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, all good lads at Middlesbrough. Whoever played, like I said, I've got my own bar, and I've still got a photo from our first, obviously when I got a first
Nice.
and you see some of the names in there. Ben Gibson was in there. Again, Charlie White, so, big, lads who are still playing now.
Really good. And like you touched on earlier, that you leave Boro 2013, join Whitby. I mean, the first couple of games as a young lad, then stepped into the non-league kind of action at the time. I mean, like you say, the balls come in the box. So it's literally full of grown men chucking the bodies at you, chucking the elbows, probably chucking the heads at you. How was it kind of adapting to the men's game at that level?
Yeah, I mean, 18. Like I said, I played at Gisborne, and obviously it was the season where Darlow won the Northern League.
Right. Yeah.
And we actually played Darlow that night when they lifted the trophy, and obviously I had a bit of experience there, and that was me, first part about it. And obviously Northern League, it's totally, it's changed now. Them days, you had big experienced lads,
Yeah.
playing in that league. But yeah, for Whitby, again, the physicality massively, as an 18-year-old lad, skinny as a rake then, just getting elbows in your face, big centre halves, piling the pressure on you, coming for crosses. Made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of mistakes as a goalkeeper at 18. I always believed in my ability to play at the level, but just at the time, I just think, the physicality was unbelievable. I mean, I remember having Kev Burgess in the dressing room, obviously, ex Darlow, and
Yeah.
I remember the time where I think I came for a cross in a game, and just totally got bullied. I remember he literally had to get hold of you and just say, like, what are you playing at, like, basically? And it's just like, there was a lot of experience in that team then. Obviously, you had Graham Armstrong up top. There's, you had Shane Henry, Tom Porters, who are, at Stockton Town now. again, Kev Burgess, a massive, caliber of experience.
Yeah.
Mark Robinson, who obviously played Football League for Hartlepool. So yeah, I mean, it was a team full of big characters, and you had to be on your mettle every weekend. Obviously, Darren Williams was manager, so I mean, he was the one who brought me in. But yeah, with the physicality at the start was, it was really tough. Because again, you had very good experienced players in that league then. And then again, the more games you play, I wouldn't say it gets easier. But yeah, it just, you get used to it, and you tend to adapt.
You mentioned there Darren Williams in charge bringing you in. I know we've had Darren on quite early when we started the channel. Great lad. Some cracking stories as well. Did he kind of sell the move to you at that point?
I don't think he had to sell it, to be fair. I think it was, like I said, obviously I had an agent at the time, and we went on a couple of trials before, and we went to, the likes of Leeds, Blackburn, Motherwell. Weren't really successful, but I think with Darren, obviously, he was a guy who would have time for anybody.
Yeah.
Who would if a player got introduced to him, I know that they were looking for a goalkeeper at the time, because Nick Liversidge, who's at Bishop now, he got a contract at Burnley. So they knew he was moving on, and they needed a goalkeeper. So I think it was just, bit of a trial and error, really, and obviously going in there, having a trial, doing the full pre-season with them, and then hoping for the best. So yeah, I mean, Darren, he's a great guy. I mean, I had a lot of time with Darren as a manager, and I have a lot of time with him as a person as well. So yeah, I mean, he just, he gave me the chance and brought me in, and like I said, I mean, without Darren, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah, cracking lad. I mean, as well, obviously your first season, you finished ninth in a cracking team as well. Some of that, did you feel like the club was going places at that point with the squad that you had, the manager and the setup?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, we finished ninth, and to be fair, we'd probably be harsh on ourselves and think that we should have done better. Because the team we had was, again, with the the ability in the league.
Yeah.
It was just, it was unbelievable. I mean, you had the likes of, obviously, you had Fylde in there who were playing National North. You had Chorley in there. FC United were unbelievable then, and still are. But yeah, it was a proper men's football league, and obviously, going back to 2013, 14, you play the league more now, and it's more, the average age is around 20 to 25.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously them days you had you still had 35, 36, 37-year-olds playing, just good, big, powerful, physical lads. So yeah, I mean the league's totally changed them, but yeah, I do believe that we should have, with that team. I think if we kept the same lads the following season, I think we'd have had a real big playoff push massively, because I mean it was just ridiculous. I mean, again, you had Graham Armstrong up top, probably one of the best strikers I've played with at non-league. You had Craig Farrell up top, obviously rest in peace his soul, and it just proper, goal scorers. You had goal scorers in there. You had big, hard hitting lads in there who wouldn't fade out with a tackle. So yeah, I mean, we should have done better, but that's football, and like I said, people come and go.
No, really good mix. And then come the next couple of seasons, the 14-15, the 15-16 season, the 13th and 19th finish. But looking back then, it was kind of the Northern League, and I know we've had a few former players that played in the Northern League. We're kind of seeing the money that was kind of getting chucked around at that point was really big, because teams were starting to want to progress. And it just seemed where a lot of players were moving kind of to the Northern League for a good pay packet compared to even clubs above them in the higher leagues, wasn't it? It was really crazy times at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's, you only have to look at South Shields for
Yeah.
instance. A
Oh,
fantastic footballing side. Look, I mean, you only have to look at their setup now.
yeah.
To reach obviously the first round of the FA Cup. So obviously you only get beat 2-0 against a football league side, obviously in Forest Green. Like I said, to come from Northern League 2, for obviously Julio Arca to go in and play. And I mean, I heard, the rumours you hear about what he was on
Yeah.
was ridiculous. Rumours you were hearing, it was, standard wage, and then obviously £1 for every fan who came into the ground. I don't know what it was. I don't know how true that is, but if that is, then that's unbelievable. But for them to progress like that, how they did, to obviously go through the leagues, and then obviously they've came into our league, and then it's just like, you have obviously Mask have came into our league.
Mhm.
You have Stockton Town in the league below, who are pulling in, 8 to 1,200 fans in every single week at home, to upgrade the ground, to get stands in the ground. Hebburn United again, there's another team. Again, just Concert in there, Shildon, you can name them all, and it just shows
really
that.
strong.
Yeah, absolutely. It just shows. Obviously, I think the only thing what puts people off is the travel.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fans, etc. They wanna go all over the country. They're mad for it. But yeah, it's just obviously, some players don't want to travel, and that's the only thing what holds people back of obviously going out of that Northern League. But it's good. It's good for North East football. It's good. It's good for teams to be, challenging to come into our league and challenge to go into the Conference North, because again, Conference North, you've got, like you said, you've got Spenny, you've got Darlow, you've got Scarborough in there now. Scarborough had an unbelievable season last season. So yeah, I mean, North East football's, absolutely flying at the minute. And like I said, the more teams will come into our league, the less travel. So happy days.
Definitely. I know Darren was really open and honest around that time, and he always said, obviously, players from the Northern League, and you had to kind of pay that little bit extra for the travel money. But by the time they said, well, we'll pay X amount, pay this, it was worth just kind of staying in the Northern League. And he said to try and keep a settled squad, but obviously teams coming in picking up the top scorer or the most improved player or the best player of the season. It was just so hard to kind of build and push forward. But again, for yourself, always been there, it must have been hard for yourself to see some of the good players leaving and not as much quality coming at that point, especially when you've seen the club of what they could have done with the progression with the players like Robinson, Bullock, Hobson, just to name a few. It must have been frustrating as a player to see the kind of players leaving as well.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I just, like I said, I just remember that first season, obviously losing Graham Armstrong, losing Kev, losing Tom, losing Shane. It was tough, very, very tough, because they were very, very key players. Of course, they were going to a football club like Darlow. Obviously, who were on the on the rise. Obviously, they were in the league below at the time, and they were close of obviously getting promoted. They know that they wanted to get promoted into the next obviously our league. But yeah, just it's crazy. Non-league football's mental at the moment. I mean, you see when you see lads, you see lads from Middlesbrough, etc. I mean, we've got at Whitby, we've got a couple of lads on loan from Grimsby, and you see, like, they don't. Some of them don't have they don't have a clue about what level they're actually coming into. They don't realise how good of a standard it actually is. People just think, right, I'm going from a professional club, I'm going into a non-league, I'm going into crappy pitches, I'm going into crappy dressing rooms, etc. You get the gist, and and then once they do play, then they just think, like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, mental. I mean, you see some of the money what gets flung about these days. It's absolutely crazy. Again, not just money, just teams going full time. It's unbelievable. Full time teams at non-league level. I just don't know.
Crazy.
Don't know what to say. I've just lost for words for it. But look, if people are getting big owners in, and wanting to push the football club forward, then you can't fault them. You can't blame them.
Definitely not. No, it's really good. Just want to say a huge thanks to everyone that's watching, hitting double figures at some point as well. Really appreciate your support, as we always do on the channel. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe. It would mean a lot to ourselves as well. And just getting back, you mentioned them before, and I've got to ask you about the FC Manchester, and obviously back then, the crowds and the flares and the atmosphere that they used to bring home. And the way I always remember watching a game down at Durham City, and they used to get about 10, 20 fans, probably Durham City in the home end, and it was just literally this one day, it was just packed of red FC Manchester. They were setting flares off in the little stand, and all the old people watching Durham City were coughing the guts up that they literally had to get out the ground until these flares cleared, because I think they were that scared they were going to set fire to the ground. I mean, what was it like, especially as a goalkeeper, playing with kind of the fans behind you? What was it like, the atmosphere at times?
Yeah, I remember my first game against FC. My first game was FC was at it was at Bury's ground. I just got back into the team. I think, you know, the previous fixtures, I had an absolute stinker of a game against Worksop, letting 5 clangers. Just wanted to go home and just, you know, crawl under a rock or whatever. Just had an absolute stinker. Got dropped for FA Cup against West Auckland, and then like I said, we just, you know, I mean, we had another goalkeeper, obviously, who was on the bench at the time. You know, he's pretty experienced. And I remember actually saying to myself, like, I'll be back in soon, because every time this goalkeeper would play beforehand, he was spewing on the side of he's always spewing on the side of the pitch. I'm just like, what's he playing at here? Just like, you know, he's just got into the team and he's absolutely spewing. Like, he's probably played more games than me. He's probably, you know, he was older than me, and I was thinking, what's going on here? Anyway, he was in for a couple of games again. Got beat away from home. I remember actually he came off against Barwell. He was again, just didn't feel well. And anyway, I came on for that game. I think I came on for the last 10 minutes. And then we played West Auckland in a replay at their place, and anyway, we got beat 4-0. Anyway, I was back in the squad for Fylde, and then we played FC United away at Bury. I think they had about 1,500, 1,600 fans, just non-stop singing. Luckily, I was actually in the quiet end first half, right. just to settle us. And then once I went into that, obviously we were 2-0 up. 2-0 up, so I think that settled us down a little bit. And then I remember just walking over second half and just walking into the goal, and I was just thinking, like, fuck. I was just like, oh my God, like, I've never played in a crowd like this before. And it was just mental, like, you know, and managed to pull off a couple of decent saves. And I remember there was a ball what came in, and it just totally swung in, missed everyone. And I remember I was leaving it go past, and it hit the post and went in, and I thought, oh no. Like, and then I got that feeling where literally, you know, we're like, you know, I just clenched up, and I thought no, like, this can't be happening. Luckily, 5 minutes after we made a 3-1, and that just, you know, settled us down again. But yeah, I mean, playing against a team like that was ridiculous. You know, obviously they had Giggs's brother playing up top, and I remember we were winning. I was taking my time. He was giving us a bit of jip. FC United, again, just whether you play them at home or away, they bring the noise and bring the atmosphere. I actually played my first game last season at their obviously their ground, bro.
Yes, yeah.
That was my first game there. And again, the atmosphere. I mean, that the main stand, you can't hear yourself. You mean, obviously, of course, you know, I was just trying to talk. I couldn't even hear myself talk. It was just that loud. But yeah, FC, you know, again, a club I've played him at Conference North level as well. And again, when I played at Spenny, again, they just bring crowds, and I mean, they bring massive numbers.
No, amazing they are. And like you say, you're doing quite well, but at the end of the 2015 season of it, Don Williams kind of said he was frustrated about the back and then the team finishing mid-table, and he left at that point. Were you gutted yourself that he left? Because I know he is quite a big character on and off the pitch. Were the kind of the players upset at that time?
Yeah, I just think, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, when Daz left, I thought, oh, like, wow, like, because obviously it was my first experience of a
Yeah,
manager getting sacked or leaving or resigning. So yeah, I mean, I massively felt down and obviously didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know. I was just thinking, wow, is my position safe here?
yeah.
And then again, like Chris Hardy came in, and I just, like I said, that was just a massive relief. Obviously, playing under him at Gisborne, he came in as gaffer then, and I was just like, wow, like I was happy that Charlie came in, because the next season, the 2016-2017 season, was unbelievable. I mean, he's obviously kept us up in the 15-16 season, and like I said, brought his own players in, different system, total different style of football.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, we were just romping teams. It was absolutely mental. Like how we were top from, I think we were top from like September to December, start of January. It just got, like I said, it just got the point where every game was just, you knew that you were going to win. Like it was 0-0, nip and tuck, and every time it got, like, because Charlie was massive on fitness, massive. You had to be fit
Yeah.
to play under him, because obviously with the running, he expected you to do. And I remember just like every time it was getting to like 80 minutes, we were just killing teams off. Just, teams were knackered. We just had lads just like Duracell bunnies.
Still
Just,
going.
oh, ridiculous. It was unbelievable. But yeah, like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I was absolutely disappointed. I was disappointed when obviously Cammy went and Darren Williams went. Dennis Wheeler stayed on board with Charlie, and just a special mention to Dennis Wheeler, because what a guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's absolutely unbelievable. He's been absolutely unbelievable. He's again a big part of my success at the club. Just always believed in you. But yeah, I think it was just time that, I think the club obviously wanted to change. Daz was there a pretty long time, and Darren, again, keeping him up the season before I came, and like I said, obviously doing well the following year. It was just unfortunate that we couldn't kick on. And of course, like I said, I think you've got to put it down to obviously lads leaving, and wanting to move on to big and better things. So again, if we kept the same squad, question is, would we have been pushing for playoffs? I do think we would have. But
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, I mean, like I said, people move on.
Yeah, like you say, you finished 19th, and then the 16-17 season, a great start of the season, and obviously doing well in yourself. Spenny will come looking, and like you say, you're still only 23 at this point. Spenny in the National League North, which is, like you say, in them divisions now, you could have a crack in one season, you could be in the National League. You end up having another good season, you could end up playing Football League. At that point, was it just a good too much of a move to turn down at that point?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I mean, yourself when you play football, and you know that you're playing well. I'll never be in denial that when I've had a bad game. I'm not one of
Yeah,
these people where if I've had a bad game, I start looking for excuses, because I'm not that kind of person. If I've had a bad game, I'll say it in black and white. But yeah, I'll just that season, just obviously after getting, obviously 16-17, getting getting in the team of the year, obviously getting in the league team of the year. And then obviously, carrying on my form. It was just one of them where Spenny came knocking on the door, and I just thought, right, big club like Spenny.
yeah,
I want to move on with my football. And of course, I had to wiggle myself through it. like I said, I've probably, you know, in previous podcasts, I've never pulled the wool over anyone's eyes. You know, I probably forced the move a little bit. Obviously, you know, I was having, I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't fake an injury, but I was having back problems. But I probably, you know, probably just played on it a bit too much. And obviously that was probably my only way of trying to get out.
Yeah.
Again, had to be in the stand. Obviously, I knew what I was doing because I knew that I was sitting in the stands hoping that, you know, Whitby would agree on a fee. But again, just, you know, I was just sitting in the stands and I was just in the, you know, in the back of my head, you know, one side saying to me, you know, I just want to get a Spenny. I just want to move to Spenny. And one side of me is thinking, I'm letting the lads down here. I'm you know, I'm letting my team down. And like I said, it was just, you know, like I said, it was just one of them where, you know, you know, I thought the move was right. And it, you know what, I mean, did it probably backfire me forcing the move? Probably. You know, I've went there thinking that the Conference North was a little bit similar to the league I was playing in. And I went there and I just got it totally wrong. Standard, unbelievable. I mean, probably standards even better now. And like I said, I just, you know, got into the side, winning games. We drew a couple. Again, had a bit of a had a stinker in a couple of games, but still, we were still managing to do enough to win games. I think whilst I was in goal, we lost one game against Stockport County. Obviously, we drew against, you know, a 4-4 against FC United. Again, just a couple of mistakes again, and then again we played FA Trophy. Played FA Trophy against Gainsborough and managed to we drew again. Just you know, daft mistakes. And I just couldn't question. I just couldn't put my finger on why I was making these mistakes. Anyway, went to a penalty shootout, and I ended up saving one in the shootout and putting us through. I felt like I said, I felt brilliant. Like, you know, I thought, wow, I'm doing all right. Even though, yeah, I've made a couple of stinkers, which, to be fair, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But then obviously, I got a phone call on the Monday, but with Jason Ainsley, and just basically said, you need to lose weight. And I knew it. And I knew it because I seen, you know, I'm always getting, you know, people getting pictures, etc. Obviously, photographers was getting pictures, sending them through. And I looked at a couple of pictures and I was just like, wow, like I'm actually piling on. And to be fair, it's something what I've always struggled with. I've always struggled with my weight, and you know, you get you fat this and you fat that and this and that. To be fair, I even had it once this season because I mean, to be fair, I did lose a little bit of weight in the summer. I lost a stone in the summer, so I haven't had that chant yet. But yeah, managed, like I said, I just managed to lose weight. And I remember the next game, I just had a funny feeling I wasn't going to be in the team. And once Tommy Moore basically said, right, we're gonna you know, we're gonna change things around, I just thought I'm gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
Next minute, Jordan Porter playing in goal. I'm just like, wow, no chance. And there it was back on the bench, and I just went right. I got in touch with Nathan Aslam, who obviously he was my agent at the time. Obviously, he's gaffer at Whitby now, and I just said, look, he's dropped me, and we've only lost one game, and I don't know what to do. He said, right, we'll get you out on loan to West Auckland. And I just thought, oh my God, like my career is spiraling here.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, I looked at it like that way, but then I looked at it as in, well, I need to be playing. Anyway, like I said, he got the move to West Auckland. Played my first game at Team Northumbria, got absolutely spanked 5-0. I just thought, like, this is going really bad. This is awful. This is terrible. Like, you know, just shoot me. Anyway, just managed to settle. I managed to settle in really well. And again, just obviously, I knew that I was there for the season. I was going to be there for the rest of the season. And Jason, we trained at Rockcliffe one time, and Jason Ainsley pulled me over. He said, "Oh, we want you back." And I just thought, Yeah, of course you do. I mean, you want me back because Porter's had a stinker and you've got Lawson in at the moment, so you need someone on the bench. And I
Yeah.
just thought, nah, no. I went, nah, no chance. I said, I'm staying at West Auckland. I said, so then obviously the gaffer, Gary Forrest, he's gaffer at West Auckland. Obviously, a pretty wealthy man.
Yeah.
He's managed to buy me out my contract and give me the same money what I was on at Spenny. So I was happy with that. And like I said, obviously played the rest of the season, then had a full season with him. Did really well. Got the quarterfinals of the Vars, which to be fair, we should have at least got. We should have got to Wembley. I think there was too many players who just froze that day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, roller coaster. I mean, I'd probably say there's one regret in football, and that was probably going to Spenny. Don't get me wrong, unbelievable club, big club. Do everything right. Got great, some fantastic, got really good players, made some really good mates there. Obviously I've got a lot of respect with the people at Spenny. But yeah, I just think it was just the timing was, I thought it was right, but it was just totally wrong. And that I would probably say, it was a massive regret in my opinion, for myself. Not as in like, Spenny's a bad club or anything, because it's not. It's a massive club, huge club. And like I said, obviously they've had a couple of times to go into the National League. So, yeah, I mean, I'll always wish them the best, and always look at them for the future.
No, really good. Nice coming there, Julie Murphy. So proud of you, son. Keep what you do best. Safe fans. Keep getting the comments in as well. Get them read out as well. On there again, lots still watching live. Really appreciate your support. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe as well. After a couple of years away from Whitby, like you say, Spenny West Auckland, the return to Whitby in 2019. Yourself, you must be really excited, obviously, to get back to Whitby Town, but again, gutted, obviously, because of the 2 seasons, because of COVID and the cancellations, the postponements. It must have been nice to get back, but at that point, not as much.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I remember just obviously playing. I mean, I was happy at Western, but I just, I wanted to be back where I belong, and that was Whitby Town, and I knew that obviously I'll always, doesn't matter how long I'll be there, I'll always play my best there, and I'll always play my best football there. One thing about Whitby is it doesn't matter if you have a good, they'll always have your support through good games, but they'll always back you after bad games. And I think that's just the respect I've built with the fans and the club. Because obviously I don't have that, I don't have that many, many bad games. I know when I've had a bad game or I've made a stinker in the game and the lads have pulled me out of it, but they'll always be honest with you, and you can't beat a bit of honesty. So yeah, I mean, I was absolutely buzzing to go back, and then again we basically left off where I finished with the team, and it was just one of them. We were near playoffs, had a really good team that year, and again, COVID comes, and just being on furlough and being on lockdown, it was just an absolute nightmare. I believe that we went into lockdown March. Obviously there was talks about COVID in December, January, and was just thinking, oh no, I've just come back, and then again the following season, obviously the following season it finished in October. I'm just like, wow, the season's just started, and we're literally finishing it in October, and just thought, wow, my head's gonna fall off here. And anyway, and like I say, it was just good to get back to football again. And once everything settled down, all the restrictions, etc., we have another unbelievable season, missing out on playoffs, coming 7th again. We've obviously, obviously Charlie left, which to be fair, I was absolutely wounded when he left. Nothing got to do with the club or anything. It was just obviously, he had work commitments. Obviously, he has a very, very, a very successful business. So we as lads we all understood. But then obviously with Bully and Nathan coming in as gaffers and taking us forward, it was unbelievable. We had a very good set. We had a very good side last year, and obviously our Jacob Hazel top for us, unbelievable striker. Obviously got his move to Darlow. You had Jasm Shuka. Again, he's gone to Darlow as well. So again, good players getting rewards, and that's how football goes. Obviously if the right eyes are looking at you, you get a move, and that's exactly what they did. And then, like I said, just play me football again this year. So,
like you say, like you finish seventh, don't you? And it's a great season. And then again, like you say, you just want to then build on that again. And then, like you say, lots of ins and outs. Obviously, Haslam and now Bates to take over from Bullock steps down. Started poor, but like you say, things are starting to pick up now. You're starting to get like a settled squad, because I know there was at one point there was quite a few players leaving at one point, a few players coming along. It's quite hard to get a team settled. But what would be the aims now, would you say, for the club for the rest of the season going forward?
I think the one word: consistency. If we get the consistency right, then I think if we get the consistency right, then we push on. Again, in our league, it's all about consistency. It's I mean, you could be down there if you get 4 or 5 wins on the bounce, you're mid-table pushing on playoffs. I mean, I'd probably say this year it's probably the tightest I've ever seen the league. It just gets tight. Yeah, it just gets tight every single year. Like 1 minute, I mean, obviously we're getting beat by Rylands, and you think, oh God, like then you go and win then you go and win Warrington on a Tuesday night, and then again, then you go, drawing against bottom of the league, and then you go and win, Atherton Colliery's 1-0 at the weekend, and you just think, well, to be fair, like all the teams around us have, we're not doing too bad. I mean, everyone's beating everyone. It's just one of those leagues this year. Everyone's beating everyone, and I don't think there's going to be anyone who runs away with it. People will say South Shields, but I really don't think they will. I don't think they will run away with it. I think Gainsborough Trinity, they're a very, very good side this year. They spanked us earlier on in the season 6-0, 6-1. So yeah, I mean, just gets tighter every single year. I think it just doesn't matter doesn't matter how much. I mean, to be fair, there's more money in our league, most definitely. Not just Shields, but I think there's other teams in the league now where they're realising that they can actually push on. You've got Radcliffe in there with big spenders. Obviously Morpeth, they potentially, spend a little bit. But like I said, Gainsborough Trinity, top of the league, like they were like, bottom of near the bottom last year. And like I said, it's just one of them. It's, anyone can beat anyone in our league, and you've got to be on your mettle every single week. Any slacking or any dropping off, then unfortunately, people won't give you points in our league.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah, you've got to work for it every single week. In other leagues, some people, some teams might, but in our league, you have to be on it every single week. If it one step off the gas, then you're massively in trouble. One bad spell in the game, it's game over.
No, it's going to be very exciting to watch it over the next few weeks and the months, kind of pressing on towards the end of the season as well. Just to finish our quick fire question round, which I think that this is the bit that everyone loves the best. A couple of good stories, hopefully coming up as well. But yeah, number one, the best manager that you've worked under.
Best manager I've worked under is probably Chris Hardy, most definitely.
Yeah. Best teammate that you've played with.
Best teammate. Ooh. Tough one. That is a toughie. I'd probably say Jasm Shuka. Yeah, funny guy. Yeah, funny guy. Yeah.
Number three, best opposition player that you've faced, probably as a striker in your obviously case, the best striker that you've played against.
I'd have to go Mason Bennett from Derby when he was at Derby. yeah, absolute goal machine. He'd put 5 past you, no problem. Yeah.
Number 4, what's been your best footballer moment so far?
Oh, FA Cup away, Gloucester City, winning 3-1. Yeah, literally bare 11, centre half playing up top, a goalkeeper coach on the bench as an outfielder. Actually, 2 goalkeepers on the bench as an outfielder. Centre half scoring 2. Yeah, that was the best moment going into the 4th round qualifier. Yeah.
Good memories. I know it was a hard one off the top of your head, but the funniest football moment that you've been involved in, kind of like bus journeys, changing rooms, on the pitch, off the pitch, that you can think of.
Wow. Oh God. Oh, that is a tough one. I've been in, to be fair, you know what? I'd probably say one of the best footballing moments was I've got 2 to be fair. I've got 2 to be fair. Yeah, I'd probably say there was one where um we obviously we were in college at Boro, and literally one of the lads just started to learn. He just got a new car. Obviously, he got a Punto. He just learned how to drive, and we've absolutely battered his car. Literally, eggs all over it, yogurt, and funny enough, someone found a rat, and it literally just, like, got hold of its tail and just put it on top of the car. So when he's like reversed out, it's just literally rolled off the bonnet and went on the front. And I remember getting back at the Riverside. Obviously, we were doing the college work there, and I remember just like Barry Dawson just going, "You, out, get out!" We were in a meeting with Dave Parnaby next day, and literally, I think 3 of us got away with it, and 2 got absolutely like knackered. And then the other one was Jamie Pull. Jamie Pull, absolute classic of a classic. Used to tell jokes on the bus, and he's told this joke about, he's told this joke, and you can tell it as a story, but it's basically, he said, "Oh, there was this man, there was this hitchhiker, and he's basically, he's on the side of the road, and we've picked him up. He had this box, and he keeps mentioning this box, and so literally, he's everyone's hooked in." And one of the lads are like literally up close, like looking in, and we all knew what was going to happen. Like, he's told us this before, but he was brand new, Keezer, and he's literally like, "Oh my, like, wow, like, what's going on here?" So he basically gets, he keeps going on about this box and keeps going on about this man. And anyway, it gets to the point where they've flung him out. They flung the lad, and he keeps saying, "Oh, what's in this box?" So this guy's going, none of your business, none of your business, blah, blah, blah. So he kept saying, "Oh, what was in the box?" And he got, "None of your business." Like, kept getting angry. So they basically flung him out the car. And then he basically comes to the point where when Pooley says, "You never gonna guess what we did. Like, we chucked him out the car and drove off, and his box was in the back." So basically, Keys is at the front. He's like literally like this, and we're just waiting for it. And he just went, "What was in the box?" Pooley just turned around and just went, "None of your business," like that. The full bus just went into absolute hysterics. Had him absolute hook, line, and stinker. Hook, line, and stinker. But yeah, unbelievable. I mean, too many really good memories. Just crazy stories. But yeah, I'll have to save them for another time. Yeah.
No, absolutely brilliant. No, a great way to finish here. But honestly, thank you so much for coming out. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
No, like I said, mate, it's absolute pleasure. Again, obviously, love doing these podcasts. Obviously talking. Again, talking. Obviously, even if it's just about football, does not, whether it's about football, whether it's about anything about football. It's obviously, I'm a massive believer on the mental health side of things.
Yeah.
And just having a conversation like yourself, just having a conversation with someone, put you in a big, a massive positive frame of mind. So if there is anybody out there, just talk. Whatever it's about, get yourself talking. And obviously, open up a little bit and hopefully you feel a lot better.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to test my memory now because I'm trying to go through what we've got coming in between now and next Sunday before we have a winter break. So I'm just trying to get it all sorted this morning. Like I say, this World Cup schedule, it's been an absolute nightmare these last couple of days getting things sorted. So tomorrow night, we've got the Sun and West End managers coming on. They're going to be chatting about obviously their time, very early time at the club, and the players that they've brought in, players coming out, and chatting about the Northern League Division 2. Friday night, we're going to be actually going around to watch Sun and West End versus Chelsea Street Town, doing a few video vlogs, getting the players warming up, quick chat with the manager before and after the game, hopefully as well, getting that on the channel. Monday night, I'm trying to refresh my mind now. So Monday night, got a lot of things coming on with the Durham City story. Obviously, we've had the episode 1 and 2, lots of bad stories, lots of things going on, but hopefully now Monday night, lots of good stories. The club's being saved and kind of pushing on as well. We've got the Durham chairman, the manager and assistant manager coming on to talk about their aims now, pushing the club forward. Wednesday night, we've got former Chelsea Street Town player Craig Marron coming on, which we've just been mentioned there about the mental health. And he really just wanted to come on and kind of show players and people that there is a voice, that you can have a word, because he kind of was away with a few of the former players from Gateshead, Spenny West, and he just kind of said how he's been watching the shows and players coming on talking about the careers and having a chat. And he just says since he's actually retired from football, he's found it so hard mentally being out of a football environment, a changing room, to kind of trying to change, just going out on a Saturday with the missus or going shopping, and just to change it around. To some people, it's very hard. So it's going to be really good for him to come on and hopefully try and get many people talking as we can, especially with our If You Care Share Foundation watching on as well.
Fair play.
Yeah, going to be really good, that one. And that takes us then on to next Thursday night, which is our Northern Premier League and Division 1 East special. At the moment, we have Carl Morris, Hebden Town goalkeeper coach, coming on. Who called you, what was it there? Mad as a frog last night. He did on when I was messaging him. We hope to get another manager or coach on from the Northern Premier as well on that one. And then finishing next Sunday night with Mickey Boro coming on, former Hartlepool player, club legend, really.
Good old Mickey.
Coming to talk about his time. Yeah, about that before we have about three or 4 weeks. So I enjoy with family time as well over Christmas as well. But yeah, it should be a really good show coming up. And like you say, lots of to chat about, especially the mental health. So it's really important, isn't it? Because I don't think people away from football don't get what it is to just that changing room banter, going to a pub. And like you can say, you'll go away to a pub on Saturday, you'll have 3 or 4 friends. Within 20 minutes, the first thing you talk about, can you remember that time on the bus? Can you remember this game? Can you remember that time in the change rooms? It's massive, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I suffered a little bit with it through with West Auckland, and like I said, it was just one of them where, I don't know, it was just one of them where I was just struggling. Obviously, I had a couple of personal reasons as well, and I managed to actually get a little bit of help off the PFA, and I was lucky to do so, and obviously I got a little bit of bit of counselling with them. But yeah, it's just it's massive. It's massive to speak as a not just as footballers, but just in general. I mean,
yeah,
I've had a lot of friends, from school, etc. Close mates, committing suicide in the past couple of years, and just not nice. Just not nice to see, and and you just wonder what you could do if they actually opened up and spoke. Of course, people don't feel comfortable speaking out, freely, openly. But even if it's just a message, even if it's just a phone call to one of your mates and just one of your friends, or a family member, who you're close to, like just speak out, and it's massively important. I mean, I can read in the comment section. I'm reading in the comment section here. About the pot noodle lawn here. That's another moment. That was a moment from my childhood. Basically, that was so basically. Remember when pot noodles did the yawns? I don't know if you remember. But they used to do these. Anyway, I managed to get one. I managed to obviously win one. And anyway, I remember we were playing a game, and I had it in my goal. So I actually had this pot noodle hall in my goal. I remember we scored, so I've literally ran to my goal, got the pot noodle on, and just went like that. Referees came over. Literally. So I was under 11s. So they've been under 11s. referees literally came over to me, said, "Look, don't get rid of that. Pass that to your mum or your dad or whoever you're with. I'm going to send you off." I swear to God, he was going to give me a red card for blowing my pot noodle on. But yeah, that's why she put that in there.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. That was hilarious. I mean, I had absolutely all the parents in hysterics that day. But yeah, look, guys, honestly, speak out, talk, because honestly, it's, doesn't matter what it is, whether you struck, whether it's, drink, drugs, gambling, football, whoever, old or young, speak out and talk to someone. We've all got phones these days. You know what I mean? It's not hard to actually, pick up your phone now and just message someone close to you and have a bit of a chat with them.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely. But again, thank you everybody for watching tonight. Our sponsors, the fans, some of the mess that we've had this week of support's been absolutely brilliant. And again, to yourself, Shane, a massive thank you. And I wish you all the best of luck with Whitby for the rest of the season. Obviously, the baby news as well. So congratulations on that as well, and all the best for the future as well.
Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much.
Excellent, brilliant. But again, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night as well.